You never know how it's going to go with these heat exchangers. One of the reasons I'm really reluctant to try and fix this leak in particular, I need to be in a boatyard because the boat needs to be safe and it doesn't have to move under its own power for the next week or 2 or 3 while you deal with however this comes off and see if we can improve it. Okay, so it's at this point we find all the bits of impeller. Oh, there we are. Look at that. Completely. And oh, is that a crack or is that the gasket? Oh no, that'll be why. If that's a crack, that'll be why it's leaking. Nope. Look at all those minging bits of impeller that have always been in there. Oh dear. Oh dear, dear. And that's how I pulled it off. Like this gasket has never been on effectively, particularly well. That's the Yanmar half piece gasket.
That's so annoying. We were hoping it was just going to be a hose, but
it does look like a crack. Yeah, it's a crack. It's a crack. And so there's the crack. So we're looking for a new one of them. I mean, we can bodge it up as much as we can with sealant for now, but it's also but we've got to be able to bolt it back on.
So that's a bit frustrating. We're going to be stuck here for the weekend now, and rather than going to anchor, we'll have to figure out a new heat exchanger cap, have to get that damn bolt out of there, and assess whether there's anything else that's wrong with the heat exchanger. I feel like we fixed one problem and another 3 appear.
I'm Daria, this is Chris, and that's Jasper, and these are our seaworthy dogs, Hachi and Luna. This is our floating home, Ragdoll. For 2 years, we called a 47-foot monohull a home. Now we've set sail on a chapter aboard a catamaran, embracing the beauty and chaos of life at sea. Full-time work, homeschooling, storms and sunsets, this is our reality. No script, no certainty, just wind, waves and the endless blue. Thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed this episode.
It's a Yanmar heat exchanger. Of course all the bolts are seized. Of course one of them snapped. Of course the aluminium of the heat exchanger is corroding away freely around the sealing surface. Of course we're now immobile because one engine's down. So the scope of operations here has changed from...
We're going for pizza in Italy.
From going to pizza in Italy to whipping the heat exchanger off and trying to get it repaired locally. Joy.
Youch.
Repaired or replaced.
Youch. Youch.
Youch. Double youch.
You need a new heat exchanger, Lulu. Oh my goodness. Oh no, that's exactly how I feel about the situation. Oh. So this morning the chaos with the heat exchanger continues.
So, believe it or not, I did manage to get this stud extracted. Well,
mostly
90% of it's extracted. Some of it's still in there, right? But I did manage to get a hole tapped that will hold the fastener. So that's good for bodge. And I'm just working on the same end here. You'll notice I've ground down part of the heat exchanger, and that's to actually get access to actually drill it. It's still squint. This will be Franken changer by the time I'm done with it. You'd just be held on with 5200.
We have put some inquiries out to get a new heat exchanger or refurbish one, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what comes back to us. But we do need to get the engine working and be mobile with both engines. So we're trying to bodge something together until we can get a new one in place.
Okay.
Why do I have to come with you?
Hold my hand. Some moral support.
What do you need moral support for?
To buy araldite.
What is araldite?
It's liquid epoxy for metal replacement purposes. Because I lost a lot of metal from the heat exchanger.
What did you do?
I didn't do anything. It was 16 years of not addressing a leak.
Nah.
Come with Dada!
Fine. You stay, guys. We'll be back shortly, okay? Bye-bye.
The heat exchanger repair is going to go well now.
Since you dragged me out, you can buy me hot chocolate. Well, a coffee with chocolate. Better have my donut in there. Hey!
You're a donut.
You're a donut. Whee! Hi, babies.
So, here we have Franken exchanger. It's going to be quite the bodge. We've lost a lot of material around the edges where it seals. Went and found some stuff. See, 2-component epoxy metal replacement stuff with like the stuff that you massage into place. Some high-temp silicone, and we've also got some super glue that we will, you know, try and cut and make some really nice big O-rings for, and hopefully that will there's a solution somewhere in that pile. We just have to make it. We build up the edges with the epoxy, we file it back, sand it back, adjust it. We've already managed to chase out the bolts and the holes. Now we've got to deal with the distortion on the end caps, so these are all badly fitted, so maybe we get some heat on it and hammer it back into shape. It's bronze, so maybe it'll work. We've also got crack in that one to do, so that's an epoxy job as well. Work to do, but there's potentially a good solution here. I reckon if you did a good job with all this, it would probably outlast the engine, to be honest. So we're sourcing a new one, because until we really see how this repair goes, you kind of want to have confidence in your heat exchanger. And there's so much wrong with this one. You know, you've got distorted end caps, cracked end caps, corrosion loss from both ends, bolts that were stuck, the cap is hanging on by the skin of its teeth. Not a lot of confidence to be had in this heat exchanger at the moment. I guess we'll see how we get on with this, and only when we put it in and we see it working, it's not leaking, will we know if it's been successful. Hey, if we can get a good price on a new or even a used heat exchanger, it's probably better to try and see where we go. Anyway, just covering all our bases. I am the world's worst masking keeper. Blah. Fuck.
Going well, huh?
Yeah, I think it's when you turn up and pull the camera out that it all goes to shizzle.
You've got some performance anxiety.
Slow process of building this up. So I've kind of used an O-ring somewhere in there to try and get the shape of what I want to build up on. This one might take a couple of fills and cutting back and filling and cutting back. So we'll see how that goes after the first one. This is good. This is quite well sealed now. Yeah, I'm just working my way at it. Got that one to do now, and all that to fill up in the exhaust. Yeah, this one was pretty awful heat exchanger. Also done this one. This was badly cracked in there, so that's all built up, can be brought back. What I found as well was they were very, very non-flat. Got a big flat piece of sandpaper and ground that, and that was making it fit a lot better. No wonder it was leaking, to be honest.
How's the Play-Doh rebuild going?
It's kind of exactly what it's like. It's great fun.
That's what you do. In nursery, you practice rebuilding heat exchangers by playing with Play-Doh.
Skills for life.
Skills for life. Solid. Did you need lovies, Lulu? Huh? Do you need lovies? Mm-hmm. That's busy. Can't play.
So whilst Chris has been battling the heat exchanger, I went out to the pharmacy and have been organizing our first aid kit, because in December it really took a beating between me and then Mimi and everything else, and everybody getting colds and flus and everything else. That's what 600 euros of meds looks like. It's madness, but now I have to get through it, organize it, and put it back in our first aid boxes and kits to get ready for the next season. Even got a second EpiPen. Given my incidents last year, I nearly killed myself when I was making a sandwich and some pickles had fish oil in them, and I'm quite severely allergic to fish. And we only had an injectable on it. There was a whole story to this. But nonetheless, we've got a good proper 2 EpiPens now on board as well.
It's day 2 of the Great Heat Exchanger repair. Managed to build all this up and even managed to get an O-ring recess into it. We've got the filler cap welded back on. This has all been built up really nice, and we've got the exhaust built back up. We've got O-rings that nicely fit now, and I'm about to start seeing how these all go back together and if they work nicely. So let's try it. So that goes like so. I can tell already it's going to be brilliant. I'm going to put it all back together with a bit of sealant just to kind of give myself the best chance of success. I've built the O-rings with the old cutting and super glue method. Got some new bolts here for all this to go back together. So I'm just going to dry fit it one time before I put it all together with sealant and see what it looks like. And it's looking pretty promising, though I think that bolt could probably be longer, to be honest. Okay. So I think I've just learned my lesson that the O-ring needs to be absolutely precisely the right size. I thought I would try one just a little smaller to see if it would kind of stretch over, but perfect fit is what it needs to be. So there's my perfect fitter. I'll try him back in. Yeah, that's a bit nicer.
So before, this was a massive gap, and you can see the filler that's in here. God, that's actually feeling really good. It's solid. It's all looking so much better and neater. And we've got new bolts going in. Might not need a new heat exchanger.
That'd be really nice. I'm just torquing it a wee bit. I'm hoping to see if the O-ring's been solidly compressed around this whole area here. If it is, then that's a good thing. I'll leave that one up for a minute and then we'll work on the other side. And I could say I would get a slightly longer bolt.
Much filling and much fairing that's been done on this, but if it works and all's well, then we've just saved about 3 grand. For 3 days of work, that's not bad.
I'll take it.
Off on a hunt for, what are we hunting for?
A gasket of the exhaust variety.
Okay.
I don't need the exact thing, I just need exhaust gasket maker. We had a load, but it's kind of got lost in the move.
Mandatory ice cream stop. Da-da-da-da-dum, da-dum, da-dum. What have you done? Confess your sins. So what have you done?
Well, I've been trying to keep the mess off the boat, so I've been working on the quay, and the inevitables happened. I've put tools and parts into the sea. Quite possibly the last place you'd ever want to go snorkeling. Left us. Woo!
I wish you could smell the water here.
If I wasn't ill before,
You definitely will be now.
ill after this.
Anyway, bon voyage, darling.
Woo! Chilly. Oh, okay.
Refreshed?
No, I've
Probably couldn't.
I think I've got mammalian diving reflex going on. Like I can feel my heart rate slowing right down. Oh, and like my blood pressure feels like it's dropping. Anyway, we're too used to warm water now. Okay, shower for Chris before I die of plague.
So while I've been editing, you've been breaking the boat again. So what have you done now?
Well, we're down flooding because you can't unturn the sea cock because it's on the sail drive, so that'll need fixed. So, trying to get the impeller out. It came out eventually while we're down flooding because I can't seal the boat off. But that's what it looks like. I reckon that might never have been changed. And I can see why, because it is in absolutely no man's land.
Yep.
We take on a magical mystery to our heat exchangers out. What's going on? Rotten battery trays, just like all the Oranas. And oh, look at all that down flooding going on! Yay! Not bad though. Like the bilge pump does keep up with it.
So yesterday the paint dried, and today we are trying to get the heat exchanger back in.
What were you thinking, Yanmar? This is like €140 hose, and it connects the raw water pump up to the back of the heat exchanger. Why not just go around the engine instead of through the engine? Very pretty, went well, all painted up, nicely sealed up. This is all sealed up, this is all sealed up, this is all sealed up. The exhaust elbow cleaned up nicely, so almost like a new heat exchanger at this point. We trial a dry fit and see how it goes. So because I'm having to reuse the existing metal gaskets, I'm just giving myself the best chance of not having to take it off right away by a little bit of smear of sealant. That's it. That's all I need to do. Run like a bull. So that's not that way up. That looks about right. So I want it a little light. No doubt there'll be plenty of people going, no, you don't use that. Oh my god, what are you doing? Let's face it, it's not a top fuel dragster, is it? We're not rebuilding this engine after 2 runs. Probably a good tutorial on how not to do it. I'm just prepping up the exhaust ports as well, just a light smear.
Are you finished with your period sealant?
Period sealant. Almost sure these are all roughly the same size. And yeah, okay, probably are. So I'll use the bolts at the ends and the studs in the middle, I think. Getting there. Okay. Good. Okay. Part of the long-term plan for these engines is to get them out clean them up, paint them, replace all the hoses with silicone where we can. You know, this is the original Yanmar hose, and it's probably a bit past its best. But I have to reuse it in this case. And certainly, you know, that's 140 euros worth of part from Yanmar. Why not just replace it with 5-10 euros of hose that, you know, this one goes, a point to this. It goes from the raw water pump under the heat exchanger and into the heat exchanger here. And it kind of weaves its way through the engine, so if it does leak, it's leaking onto the alternator or the starter motor or the engine wiring harness. So why not have it as an external hose away from the water pump, down, along and up. So that's what we're going to do.
Are you stuck? Oh no! Obstacle course. There we go. Yeah. Come on, start again now.
Replacement hose. So that's coming from the raw water pump now. So I can just clip that down there, and that's a lot nicer.
Oh look, pig juice.
Only the very best for Ragdoll. Okay, so we're going down to the thing. So it's good, we've got coolant water flowing, so the impeller that I replaced is flowing water. Yeah, we're just sort of waiting at the moment, I guess, for it to build temperature so that the thermostat opens and the coolant in the heat exchanger cycles. There is an alarm on the sail drive, so I'm going to have to go in and try and see if I can rectify that again. I don't know what it is. Probably not the sail drive leaking down. I'm just in an earth somewhere or a bit of corrosion. So
Brain is rattling from that sail drive alarm. What's happening?
I think we've got a bigger problem than we thought.
Uh-oh.
So I put the engine into gear to just figure out, you know, try and load up the engine a bit to generate some more heat to see if I can get the thermostat open.
Okay.
And I come down and have a look, and literally the whole engine's off to the side and it's up off of this broken mount here. Mount's fucked. Completely, utterly blitzkrieged. This engine mount is completely toast. It's sheared off underneath the stud. So there's nothing we can really do to fix that. That's just got to be replaced. The only thing I can do is to sort of temporarily lash it down with like Dyneema or something, or cordage, just to kind of get us to the next port, really. That's a scary bit. That's needing immediate replacement. Now, CSYS over there could order it in.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an option.
So the sail drive, we had an alarm on the sail drive coming on, and we thought we'd fixed that. I have been screwing around with the electronics a wee bit, so I do need to just sort of put that back together a bit. But the pressing issue is the mount, because when you go into gear, it rocks the engine like this far off of the mount, and that can't be very good for the sail drive seal, so that's why I double checked. It's still dry in there by the skin of our teeth basically. New mount time, definitely. On the positive side, the heat exchanger is working a treat. That's doing the business. So, you know, great. I just need to let it, you know, see what it does with drawing in fluids. And just keep topping it up as it. I think the thermostat finally opened there, so let's top it up. My hungry little heat exchanger. So from here, I think I'll just lash down the engine mount so that I can at least move the boat under its own power, and then we'll put the rest of the engine back together. So we'll put the airbox and the associated piping there back together, we'll put the electrics back together, try and clear the alarms, and the partridge in the pear tree. So I've managed to lash in the two mounts that are a bit loose. Do you want me to show you?
Can do.
We have one mount lashed down, and we have the second mount lashed down. A little bit ropey, boom boom, but it's a damn sight better because that side of the engine was lifting by about 10 centimeters. Oops. I'm now getting into the wiring bit, trying to clearing this alarm. So hopefully that's the easy bit, and then we can package it all back up. And, yeah. So Daria is here to give me a hand, just to run back and forward with the ignition. So as you can no doubt hear, we've finally figured out the sensor issue. It was just a bit of a dodgy bit of wiring, a bit of water in it. So I've cleaned all that out, cut it back, re-terminated it. Sail drive is staying dry inside. I'm just packaging it all up now, zip tying all the harness back and making sure nothing moves, and we've temporarily secured the engine mounts for now. As good as it gets, we should be able to move the boat now. That's the main thing.
So we are all up and running, engine's good, it's dynamoed down, and we're just going to move a little bit further up the quay because they're putting the pontoons back in here tomorrow, and we've been asked to just shift up a little bit. So we're gonna do that, bat the heat on and hunker down for the evening, call it a night. Now I must admit, we have docked in better places. This part of the quay, albeit is mostly free, it is an absolute building site at the moment. There's only a couple of the other charter catamarans that are here waiting for the pontoons to be put in place. But this entire area is just a building riot. The dogs are loving it, but nonetheless. But the engine seems to be all good. Sail drive alarm off. Like I said before, it's held down by the NEMA. Heat exchangers all working. Chris is just checking everything over. But, phew! So don't forget to leave a comment. Thanks for watching, and till next time!